some people are always going to be better than others. And I learned that. I started off 134th. Before lockdown, I got to 59th. Let me tell you, I was chuffed with that.
Yeah.
If I worked my backside off between now and I'm 55 and the time I was 60, I might tickle the top 30. Do you understand? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I might tickle the top 30. But there's just something about other people that they just, what can you say? Life's unfair.
And you tried a lot of different things, didn't you? You tried Grand Prix. You tried the World Championships, which is a kind of event. You tried Quiz League of London. You tried all sorts of TV formats over the course of the year. There wasn't much you didn't try. So you were seeing lots of different facets of the quiz world. Yes.
The very quick thing I learned was you can't just dip your toe in the water and expect it. This is a serious thing. So I learned that even if I put another few years of concerted effort into it, I am never going to be, and I'm not even saying it because it's my age, I know what my brain's like, I'm never going to be as good as Kevin Ashman, Pat Gibson, Oliver Bjorntomt, Ian Bailey, yourself. There's 20, 25 people up the top there. I say in the book, what's the difference between Lionel Messi and the centre forward of Crawley Town? And if he's watching, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to pick on the centre forward of Crawley Town. Something magic happens between the brain and the foot of Lionel Messi, and things happen that it doesn't for other footballers. It's the same in anything. So these people have brains, or you have brains. Something magic happens. Do you know what I mean? Unless there's a big scientific experiment, you can't really put a finger on it. It's just the luck of evolution or whatever, or human, Some people are always going to be better than others. And I learned that. I started off 134th. Before lockdown, I got to 59th. Let me tell you, I was chuffed with that.
Yeah.
If I worked my backside off between now and I'm 55 and the time I was 60, I might tickle the top 30. Do you understand? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I might tickle the top 30. But there's just something about other people that they just, what can you say? Life's unfair. but it's not just your natural intelligence. It's how much graft you want to put in as well. There's
Absolutely.
no way, Kevin Ashman yourself, don't go away and do homework. You can't just read a paper and expect everything to be in place. It's about graft, like anything. Graft.
Yeah, there's the combination of natural sort of aptitude and then the right attitude to acquisition of knowledge. There is, it's one of the things where I've kind of realized that I pretty much hit the ceiling of what I could achieve.
I have to stop you there.
Yeah.
One of my favorite moments was I interviewed, because I wanted to interview people who the public wouldn't necessarily know. So I picked on Ian Bailey and David Stainer, who, as you know, are both excellent quizzers and lovely fellas, right? I think if COVID hadn't stopped things, I'd probably have interviewed Kevin before the Worlds again in June. And I think the book is missing something like that, but I'll put it in the paperback because we're going again in December, I hope, aren't we, for the Worlds? I think.
Hopefully.
But I wanted to make sure that these people was sort of represented who people might not know. But Ian Bailey told me that in over 150 instances of quizzing, he'd never beaten Olav, Kevin, or Pat. And he said he all he could do was try it. And in the Europeans,
he did. He went and won it. Yeah.
So less of that defeatist talk, Mr. Kingston.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll take that pep talk. One of the things that you talk about in the book is how you try to learn some techniques to improve your quizzing. You spoke to a memory champion about mind palaces, and you spoke to a hypnotist about what hypnotism could do for you. What do you feel you got out of those?
Okay, so I soon learned, back to a previous question, because I want to try and include everything. I soon learned that realizing that I was never going to, get above the titans of the quizzing game, I soon realized it's very much, and I'm sure you'll agree when it comes to a Grand Prix, it might be different for you because you're higher up than me, but it's a battle against yourself. my opinion. I'm not trying to beat Kevin or Pat, 'cause it's never going to happen. But I want to creep up. So it's not like there's a massive rivalry with someone else. I just want to creep up and get better every time. So it's a battle. It's a battle for me against me, really.
Yes.
And no other individuals on the day. Couldn't, you can blank that out. So it's unlike some other sports, really. It's not like you're playing tennis against someone. So I thought, okay, all we can do is improve yourself and just fingers crossed. So the first thing was Mark Shannon. He's an incredible guy. He's a memory grandmaster. So he has developed or has been taught as well systems of memory retention to incredible ways. There's many methods, but one is a memory palace. There's another one called a chain method, right? So these people memorize packs of cards.
Yeah.
You can shuffle up packs of cards and lay them out in front of them. And they can memorize the pack of cards, all 4 packs shuffled up in order. To do that, all you've got to do is remember the next card going on to the next card. So you associate some daft memory thing to that card, whether it's the 3 of diamonds. When my mum was 3, she's a diamond. Do you understand? When my mum was 3, she was a diamond. It's irrelevant. It's gobbledygook. As long as it means something to you, you can move on to the next bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can, through this series of memories, you can memorize all 4 packs of cards. That's called a chain method. The one he taught me was a memory palace, which is much used by Sherlock Holmes in the novels and in the book, well, certainly in the Benedict Cumberbatch television series. He goes, no, God, it's my memory palace. And this has been used since the great orators of Greek and Roman time, when they had these 3-hour speeches. Must have been fun. So they would use references around them or in their head to remember the next bit. So I met Mark at a venue in London. And first of all, I said, look, I'd like to remember the periodic table. So he said, right, well, let's start with the first 10 elements to your body. So imagine you've got bombs as feet. Then you've got balloons tied around your knees. Then you've got a mobile phone strapped to your thighs. So basically that's, hydrogen, helium, what's it called? It's late.
Lithium.
Lithium. And it went on and on and on. Number 10 was neon. By the time I left the room, I knew the first 30.
Wow.
And I had it in my head. And then I went home and used this very office, using the titles of books. I'd pull a book out that got me about its title. I could remember, and I was up to 66. If you put a gun to my head now and tell me name the 66, I've let it go a little bit. But you know what I mean? It was there.
Yeah.
If I'd have chosen to carry on with it, it was there. And I remember the next quiz, something came up. What is and it was molybdenum, and I knew it because of this procedure. That's called a memory palace. So as opposed to the chain method, where you don't need to know the sequence of 4 packs of cards for the rest of your life, only on that one occasion, these things, if you put the memory palace in right, you remember it forever. And if you keep up with it. But so that was the idea. And then I went back and we did African countries and capitals from left to right, all of them, and I learned them. So that was where Mark came into it. And then I thought, okay, let's look at lifestyle. I've always liked a pint, which is, excuse me. It's 8 o'clock. Oh, come on. Can't deny me that. So I thought, well, is it to do with, do top quizzes? Do you, the night before a quiz on a Friday, have 4 or 5 large gins do you?
No, I don't know. Generally because I'm driving, but I've always been rubbish at quizzing when I've had a drink, so I tend to avoid it. But yeah. So that was that point.
Okay, let's look at the lifestyle change: food, drink, just total lifestyle. So don't get me wrong, most of my heavy drinking, and I put it in the book, like most young men at the time, before young men discovered Fortnite or whatever, took part in your late teens, early 20s, and the same with me. Now it's more of a hobby because of hangovers. But would someone like Kevin get lashed the Friday night before a quiz? No.
Well, I don't know. There's a documentary on YouTube.
Come on.
The 2006 European Championships in France, which was the first one I ever did, where we were in this PGL youth centre thing near Paris, and Kevin really did drink too much. And then the next day, the individuals, he's green. He's really, really unwell, and yet still wins the European Championships. So,
where did he come?
First. He still won it. It's like,
he's got every base covered. I was jealous of him before. Now I'm just,
but I don't think that's his chosen approach. I think
that's wonderful. That is wonderful. It's made my night. But so it was this thing, healthy body, healthy mind. So I went to see Chris Hughes. He's a hypnotherapist. I'm not quite sure of the difference, but put it this way: if you go to the doctor, I would say, if I went to the doctor, I said, "Doctor, I'm overweight. What can you recommend?" "Well, don't eat or drink so much." "Oh, thanks, doctor. You're magic." We know what we need to do to sort ourselves out, but a lot of us are just unwilling to make the change, or for various reasons. There's loads of tiny habits, as I found out, you can change to try and cut down on, because you can't start from big thing. It's not like people can go cold turkey. You cut down on a small habit. I always have a drink at 6 o'clock. Well, okay, what if you do something else at 6 o'clock? You go out for a walk, and then you start drinking at 7 o'clock. You're still going to eat at 8 and fill your stomach up, but instead of drinking from 6 till 8, you drink from 7 till 8. There's loads of little tiny habits you can change. So I went to see Chris, and he explained all this, and for a while it worked. I mean, it was there. All he was doing was sorting out my ability to be hypnotized, because some people are just like put up a shutter. They won't allow themselves to be, but he put me under, and it's all detailed in the book. And I benefited from it. But that wasn't even going to be the main one. He was going to put me deep under after that. But even from the short one, I benefited.
Okay.
So I was up for anything. Anything that could creep me up that table, I was up for.
Yeah, I think the big lifestyle change I made was trying to make sure I was properly hydrated, because the brain functions better when you're hydrated. And I used to drink Coke, and then I used to find the sugar and the caffeine meant I wasn't necessarily thinking clearly. So now I try and avoid that in the serious quizzes, and just drink water if I can. But I don't always. But it generally marked a bit of an improvement in my performances when I was not rocking up having had 2 bottles of Coke and I'm wired and whatever. So I think there is an aspect to it. I am always kind of a little bit envious of the people who can get bladdered the night before and roll up and then do brilliantly, because that's just not me. But we're all built differently, aren't we?
There are some players there, and we won't name them, but I don't know how to do this. Sort of sip on 3 or 4 pints throughout the quiz, and good luck. Horses for courses. I'm not, and a couple of them come very high. We know what I'm talking about.
Yes, we do.
He's absolutely lovely, but fair play, and he always gets great scores. So I'm just very envious. Yeah.
Thanks for watching this video on all things quiz. If you enjoyed it, please click the like button, and if you really enjoyed it and want to see more like this, then click subscribe. And to the left, you can see some other videos you might enjoy.